AJ, any different training for an MMA fighter in terms of your sparring, what you do, the chance he might push you around and grapple you a bit more than your usual opponents?
No, nothing like that. He's a boxer now, so I train for a boxer.
Looking back now, going to Dallas, and I know you had a great time with Derek and you probably would have stayed with him, but that's 5,000-mile flight.
Exactly.
The Ben's half hour down the road. Exactly. Do you think where you might have been if you'd have gone there a bit earlier?
What, in terms of Harlow? Life would have been much easier. But I think it taught me the benefits of sacrificing, because I feel like sacrificing seems as a bad thing. But if you sacrifice, you can get so much out of it. And I got a lot from Derek. Great coach, great human. I learned a lot how they work hard out there as well. I sparred a lot of Americans, which is really good. I'm always putting the UK on the map as well, but home is always home. Home is where the heart is. So I was always going to end up back there at some stage. But that experience, when I'm older and someone's coming to me for advice about what's it like in America, I've been all over San Fran, went LA, been to Canelo's gym. We went to Silicon Valley to see Verge. We went Texas, Dallas, went Houston to see Ronnie Shields. I've been all over the place, man, and it's been a really good experience. So I think it's been a massive benefit to me.
Speaking about training and fighting away from home, are British fans ever going to see you back on UK soil again, do you think, just because of the force that these guys are back in boxing with?
Yeah, I think they will, definitely. I don't see why not. I've got a lot of fights left in me. I feel fresh, so I ain't got one or two left. But that's a question for Eddie and 258 management. But for me personally, I think you'll see me back in the UK.
A good while ago, you did say that when you started boxing, you decided to give it to yourself as a sentence, like a prison sentence, get through this and then enjoy life after. Has that changed recently, or with losing the titles, or with Saudi's involvement? Have you changed your outlook on wanting to get out of the sport?
Oh, no, still in it to win it. I enjoy it. I enjoy this sport a lot, not just for like what all this stuff is, but like the lifestyle it brings me, the mentality that is shaped for me. If I weren't boxing, I'll be quarter of the man I am. It's made me a really astute, intelligent. It's built my character, strong-minded, strong-willed. It's really helped me. So yeah, I will continue to do it for as long as possible because it is a massive part of my identity. Not boxing, but what it brings for me.
It takes a lot out of you, and I saw out of everyone.
It gives a lot to me.
But
don't take much out of me. It don't, I promise you.
But you did say in an interview the other day that the main thing you wanted to leave this sport with was your health.
Yeah, I think that's...
Do you ever feel like it's taken a bit out of you?
Of course, that guy died the other day, the Japanese boxer. Was he a Japanese guy? But somewhere in Asia he died, and it can happen. It can happen to the best of us. So that's why I say health is important in this sport, but that's why you got to train hard, and that's why you got to train smart. We spar a lot. That's why you got to be good. If you're not good enough, you shouldn't do it because it's so detrimental to your health.
With the boxing money that you have got, that you've rightly deserved, what is the nicest thing you've been able to treat your family to? Because we all know the story about where you've come from and how hard life was early on.
I always treat my family, and the nicest thing that I can give them is love, attention, whatever I'm capable of, you know. So it's not it's not just about money. You can get money, hang it to people, throw it to people, and then not give them any consideration, and that wouldn't matter that much.
Listen, the UFC didn't want to pay you properly, so like a lot of MMA fighters, you wanted to come to boxing, or what you're worth, perhaps.
I would not. You know, that is a question or a statement that is very complicated, you know, because again, I will always say that it wasn't just about money, because at the end, I have turned down a lot of money. Even before my last fight, I turned down a lot of money. I get promises of getting back paid, but I turned it down again because something wasn't right in those contracts, in the way that they do business for me, and I stand by my position to make things right, at least for me, and if possible, for others as well. I think it wasn't fair, even in the contractual way, because I have been a victim of that contract, so I realized that after being there, after experiencing that, I will not just step into it and accept for the same thing. It wasn't just about the money. I could have get paid as well. And in fact, I turned out and signed a good deal with PFL that I haven't fought. I could have go back in the PFL and fight, and I would have get a lot of money. But now, in MMA, I was a champion already. I made my way from zero to champion, and then boxing, that have always been my dream. I never really did it, and then I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it. So, just to make things clear, there is also money in MMA. Not because sometimes you don't get paid, that doesn't mean there is not money. There is money. and I have get a lot of promises, you know. So
Roman, it's a little bit different to Doncaster Racecourse, isn't it, mate?
Oh, I know, it's well, you can't compare, can you? I feel like I'm in a movie, I need to pinch myself, but just taking it, soaking it all up and enjoying the week.
I remember when you made that debut, and I think all boxing fans looked and had a lot of respect for the fact that you weren't jumping on a Mr. show or one of your brother's shows. You were starting from the bottom and learning your trade properly.
Yeah, you've got to do it. You can't just be thrown in when you're not ready, and I want to make my own name and do my own stuff. And that was great for me. It was a great learning experience, and I've built from that, and here we are today, you know. Very happy.
Around the Deontay Wilder fights, your dad used to do some very quiet, measured interviews before he became a big YouTube star. And he used to talk about how when he was in prison and he couldn't watch Tyson, how hard it was. Now, he can not just watch Tyson in person, he can watch Tommy and he can watch you. It must have been an incredible turnaround. He must be the proudest man in the world.
Yeah, if you'd have asked him when he was back in jail, you know, if he would have been here today, he would have said no way. So I think God's good and he's a good man. And he's being repaid now, and he can just sit back and enjoy us free boxing and doing well. And hopefully continuing it Friday.
I watched the interview that Tyson did, I think he was in Thailand with Wow Hydrate, and he was asked about the fallout of getting the cut and having the fight pushed back. And he did at the beginning say, no problem, shit happens. But he did also say that he was off when for the 2 days there wasn't a date. Did you notice that? Did you sense he was a bit down about how it all panned out?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said before, he was the most motivated and focused I've ever seen Tyson. You know, he knew the job at hand and he wanted to go out and prove a point, because there's a lot of people saying Usyk was going to win this, you know, from his last performance. So he's on a mission, isn't he? So he's gutted, but now we've got a new date. It's round the corner and he's going to be ready.
We have some great chats with Tyson when he talks about how him and Shane argue about history's greatest fights and really study the sport and all the old videos they watched. But then Tyson will say to us, I never care about Undisputed, it never means anything to me, which sort of doesn't make sense to us too much. What do you think? Do you think to be the first four-belt ruler in 25 years will mean nothing or everything?
I think it's got to mean everything. The man's boxing as being a child, you know, he's done so much, getting to gyms and all that when nobody was supporting him and all that, and now look, he's got a chance to fight for absolute greatness, and this would cement his name as the greatest heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. So of course it means everything to him.
Blindy, mate, good luck. Cheers, Roman.
And now let's welcome from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. He is undefeated with 8 wins, 4 of his 8 wins coming by.
Joe, I know everyone wants to talk about knockout chaos and huge heavyweight fights. I want to talk about finally getting a son sorted out after 4 beautiful daughters.
Oh yeah. You know what? So many blessings in my life. 4 beautiful girls and baby boy on the way. And you know what? Just want to say to my wife, if she's watching this, thank you very much for all your hard work. She's at home pregnant and looking after 4 girls. And you know, training camp sometimes feels like when you're far away from the fight, it feels like a holiday, sort of like a training holiday. But the closer to the fight it gets, obviously everything gets busy and you start preparing mentally and physically. So just thanks to my wife for all her hard work.
And I know that you're always supposed to say that you don't mind if you have a boy or a girl. Any good dad says that. But when you've got 4 girls and you're a proud fighting man, you must have been desperate for that little boy.
Do you know what? I wasn't desperate for a boy. My 4 girls are my best friends. I love them to bits. And I'm not sure how I'm going to be with a boy because I'm so used to having girls.
And you've got a Dempsey name in the family for the boxing. What are you thinking about for naming a little boy? Have you had the big talk yet?
I'm not too sure yet. It's really up to my wife. I was able to pick the girls' names and now it's her turn.
And am I right in thinking this is the first birth that you'll be home for? You've missed all the girls' births because of camps?
Yes, I missed all the births because of fighting and because of camps and being away. And I'm very excited to have this fight and then return home and be there for my wife and be by her side, you know, for the first time.
Do you think you might get a shaky hand when you cut that cord for the first time?
I'm not sure what to do, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take instruction from her, and whatever I'm there to do, as long as it can be a bit of help, you know, I'll just do whatever she says.
I just asked you there off camera about the Deontay Wilder fight. When did you know in that fight that, barring a judging disgrace, that you were going to get it?
You know, after that flurry in the 8th round, and then the last 2 rounds, Andy said to me he's going to come looking for a KO, and as long as I was alert and cautious and still throwing shots back, I knew that I had it. I just had to be very careful, which I was the whole fight. I was like, you know, so and it's great. It was great that I was able to get the win over Wilder because he's a tough opponent. power in boxing history, and respect to him what he's done. And but it was just my night. It was my night.
Tyson needed 2 goes, mate. You only needed 1.
Huh?
Tyson needed 2 goes. You can hold that over him.
Yeah. No, listen, it's a different. Wilder was a different fighter back then to what he is now, and I'm sure he was working a lot of things with Malik and doing different things. But I guess I was here earlier and I was more prepared, and it just came my way.
Good luck, mate. Get home to the baby.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Joe. Gillet, the last time you was in Saudi Arabia getting a very harsh decision against Filip Hrgović, you must have been pretty deflated. Feeling very, very different coming into this one, I guess.
上次在这个地方输给了 Hrgović， 这次来肯定都不一样了吧？
对，都不一样了。然后随着时间的推移，然后从上一场比赛，虽说裁判判我输了，但是我们整个团队包括全民，然后认为我赢了，但是那个已经过去了，无所谓了。现在我通过那场比赛之后，然后我在成长，然后我从比赛中，然后吸取了总结了很多经验，然后到最后有2次战胜乔伊斯，战胜乔伊斯之后，我们回去又总结经验，然后我们现在每天都在把自己变得更加强大。
I feel totally different, different fight, different location, different time, different scenario. For me, I believe I won against Hrgović. A lot of people do, but the judge had me losing, so that's it. That's history. I learned from that fight. I beat Joe Joyce twice. I learned from those fights. I'm a completely different fighter now. I'm improved. I'll see what I can do on March 8th.
I noticed, particularly with Alexander Usyk, despite being a foreign fighter, his wins over British guys made him really popular with British fans. And I really think that Gillet has caught the British public with his performances against British fighters. And we've almost adopted him as a bit of a hero for us at the minute.
因为英国人很喜欢你，就是你把英国人打败了之后，英国人反而更喜欢你。像乌西克，他把英国人打败了，英国人很喜欢他。你把英国人打败了，在英国也收获了很多的粉丝。
对，这说明英国的粉丝，然后包括不光英国的粉丝，还有世界所有的球迷，他们尊重强者。然后你越强，然后他们喜欢看到强对抗，然后喜欢强者，然后所以说他们喜欢我。
I think fans in UK, as well as fans all over the world, they want to see high-level performance. They want to see the best against the best. They respect the best performance, the strongest guys, and that's why I gain a lot of followers, because I step up to challenges.
And your celebrations after that fight, and there was I think you were booed in. Obviously, Joe was as a London favourite, and there was a small pocket of Chinese fans that you got to celebrate afterwards. That's the most animated I've seen you. Did it feel a little bit extra special, that win?
在乔伊斯你跟他打的时候，开始被虚了，但是把他打赢了之后，跟很多人都庆祝了，特别跟中国粉丝回去也庆祝了，感觉是不是很开心？
对，我很开心，因为其实我打败乔伊斯，这只是我们的工作，生活中我们也是朋友，然后包括全迷，看到不管是谁胜谁负都好，然后大家就看了一场非常非常精彩的比赛，然后互相为对方加油，这是一种很友好的一种表现。
Well, I am very happy, but actually, professional boxing is a job. We do the job. We don't hate each other. So Joe Joyce, I'm sorry to see him lose, but he's a friend of mine in real life, and we want to see each other do well.
Last time we interviewed you, we talked about how your shooting helps you with your boxing. We used a few little puns on that. How is the range at the moment? Are you hitting the target plenty?
射击来说，射击对你是一个很好的调节，你也会去正中靶心。那这个东西，你觉得它会对你有帮助吗？这次？
会有帮助，因为我喜欢去射击，因为在你射击的同时，然后你把你所有的注意力，然后定格在目标身上，两个眼睛，然后盯着目标，然后这样你能够精准的去击中目标。所以说，这对我的拳击生涯有很大的帮助。
Yeah, shooting as a sport really helped me a lot because it's kind of competitive shooting. It teaches me how to focus, how to aim, and how to be accurate. So it helps me.
I love London. I used to love trips in Vegas and New York, and I'm starting to like Saudi Arabia, but I would love a trip to Macau for a huge fight. With your victories recently, are we any closer to that incredible night that all the British guys can come over and see?
现在很多英国的球迷，包括他在内，都喜欢去沙特了。有没有一天有可能让他们喜欢去中国？
现在拳击的中心慢慢的从拉斯维加斯、从纽约、从伦敦，然后现在慢慢转移到沙特。现在这个市场这个氛围非常好，然后当然我希望有一天把这些顶级的赛事然后挪到中国，让中国的拳迷然后亲临现场，在自己的家门口能够看到顶级的赛事。
I think the power of boxing is slowly shifting to Saudi Arabia, Middle East. I definitely believe that China is upcoming, and the market is huge. I believe one day I can do a fight in China and let everybody over there see what's happened.